Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar. Today we will see how to automate Studio by using some macros. Regarding the logistic, you can ask questions directly within the interface of GoToWebinar. Do not hesitate. Today I am with my colleagues Angela and John, so they can directly answer you, and we can cover some questions at the end of this webinar. It will be recorded, so you will receive an email after the webinar with the link to this recording, so you can watch it after it has been done. And you can also directly get the QR code at the end of the presentation. You can flash it with your mobile phone to directly contact us if you want to. Today we will see when to use macro, why it is useful, where we can find them, and how to implement them. We will see some the different samples macro. We will write one together and view what can be achieved using different macros. And at the end, like I said, we will cover some Q&A. If you have any question, do not hesitate to ask them. With Studio, we have a solution for architect modelers. They can create from scratch their new models, or they can reverse engineer from existing data source. We are supporting many different database engine, but also data warehouses and different file formats. We can directly import them in our solution. We can also integrate with data governance solution, such as Collibra or Microsoft Purview, directly with our solution. We can manage business glossaries. We can relate these business glossaries to the different objects that we will have in our models, and we can easily find where the relevant information is stored in which object and so on. Regarding the macros, so we provide with Studio Data Architect, the C client, we provide a COM automation interface. It will be very useful to automate your repetitive task. So if you have some specific tasks you are doing quite frequently, can be daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. If you want to be sure that it will be done always the same way, or if you have split the work between different colleagues and you want to be sure that everyone will do exactly the same steps, you can create a macro, and everyone will run this macro, and you will be sure that everyone is doing the same step, expected steps that you want to achieve. To extend, you can also extend the existing function. We'll see this during the script, during the demo, and we can directly add some new feature to the product by extending the existing features. We can create some macro to call the current features, and then to apply some specific treatment, add some new attributes, some specific attachments, and so on, directly on the different object by using these specific macros. As it is a COM automation interface, we are supporting many different languages. By default, with the tool, we are providing an editor for the macros that will support Visual Basic directly with the solution. But you can use other language that support a COM automation interface. Can be PowerShell, can be Delphi, C++, and so on. With the solution, we are providing hundreds of macros directly as samples with the product. You can find them in a dedicated tab in the solution, and the files by themselves are by default in your program, in this folder, program data, EDERA, the version of your Studio Data Architect, and then you will have a macro folder. You can create in this macro folder some other folder to store your own macros, and they will be visible directly within your Data Architect. The editor I was mentioning just before, so you can directly create your script within the solution, and you can run your script directly from this user interface. The documentation is also available directly in the UI. From Data Architect at the top right, you will have this question mark. Next to the question mark, if you expand this menu, you will see automation interface reference. This is where you will find all the different objects that are available, some description of the existing sample macros that are available with the solution. And if you click on WinRAP basic help, you will have the documentation about the language itself that is embedded with this editor. So we will create a macro. We will check some existing macros that I have already created. So we can check what is already existing. We will see also that you can automate with these macros. You can call, for example, Data Architect from command line, and you can add some parameters to call a specific macro. So you can use these calls from command line in your own script, in your PowerShell, in your different batches. If you want to integrate, for example, some documentation extraction from your models, you can integrate it in your CI DevOps workflow if you want to. And you can also extend the product when you will, for example, create a new entity, attribute, and so on, or when you will update them or delete them. You can trigger some specific events, and in this event, you can add your own code to create exactly what you want to achieve. Or you can create a new macro from scratch, and we will see how to use this environment. So let's switch to the product. So I have started my RStudio Data Architect. By default, I can't create any macro. I can do a macro without opening a specific project. So we'll just create a new blank project. Here you can see the different tabs. So you have the macro tab. In this macro tab, you will have per default this sample macro folder, that contains many different samples. You can directly select one of your samples to run a specific macro within your project, or you can, like I said earlier, I have created, for example, in my environment, some specific macros that I'm using, and so I have just created a folder within the folder where your macros are installed. If you want to share your macro between you and your coworkers, you can change the path where the macro are stored. So in your when you go to Tools Options, you will have different options. When you select directories from this list or from the tabs here, you will see the default folder for your macros. You can use a network mapped folder where you share your different macros, and everyone will see the different macros that you can have for all between all the colleagues. I was talking about the different event handlers. From the option, you can go back to the options. We have automation options, also available from here. And here we can see that we can activate these different handlers to directly view, to directly trigger them. So by default, Data Architect will not use these different handlers. And we can see in this specific folder that we have some specific files. So I have some custom files that I have created. Otherwise, you will see in your own installation ERS basic handlers and delete handlers and update handlers that match these three different handlers in this solution. I will just click my, no, I will activate it just a little bit later, and I will show you my current basic handlers to update what I want to achieve. So within this specific file, you will see different procedures. So I have one, when I create an attribute, this procedure will be triggered if I check the box, if I tick the box in my options. The same when I create a new diagram, a new domain. When I create my entity on a submodel, I can get a handler to this entity. The same for the entity in my model, the different foreign keys, and so on. So we can see all these different rules that are directly available. And I have also created in this file, so by default, you won't see this specific function that I have created. And in fact, this function, I'm calling it from my different relationships. So I have my create relationship handler, and here I have extended the code to get my, we can see as a parameter for this specific procedure, my create relationship. I have my relationship and the diagram where it belongs. So from this information, I'm getting my relationship from the current diagram, and I will call my procedure input relationship properties. So I haven't checked my function. So if we look right now how my data architect behave, I have added two entities. If I insert a relationship between my two entities, it just add my relationship. If I double click my relationship, I can edit it. I can put some verb for my relationship is doing, and this is doing, and this one has been done. No, is doing. Yeah, never mind. My English is not so good. So I can put some specific verbs. I can put a name, a business name, and a constraint name to my relationship, and so on. Recently, I got a customer who said, "How can I enforce this the names for my relationship? I want to be sure that my architect will put a name every time they will create a new relationship." So what I will have created is this, I have extended this basic handler for my relationship. And so I will prompt these different properties using this basic handler. So you can have your macros that you will run directly from your menu. You can call from a command line to from a batch, for example, if you want to automate the task, or you can extend the features of the solution by just adding, sorry, just by updating your different handlers from the solution to add this specific feature. And so if I go back to my options, tools options, I will activate my create handler directly from here. So this is the scripts that will be run. Like I said earlier, if we want, we can directly put some breakpoints, so we can debug the script directly from the user interface. I will not click the play button. I will just keep it like this. I will just insert a new entity, and then I will add a new relationship like this one. And you can see that I have this new prompt directly from my user interface. And by default, he has generated a name using my constraint name. I can put my name for my business constraint directly from here. And the same for my different verb for my relationship. I can directly also update my display options. And when I will click OK, we can see from here the name of my constraint, the business name of my constraint. So depending on the option, from the diagram display option, you can go to a diagram object display, and you can select what you want to display for your different models. So here I am on my entity. I can select which properties I want to display directly in my model. And if I navigate to my relationship, we can see that we are showing the cardinality, but also verb phrases and the business name and constraint name, and that are directly displayed. And so depending on what I want to display, you will adjust my submodel options. So from this script, we can see if we look at the method itself, what did I do? I have this. So yeah, let's start in the correct way. So from here, I have my call to my method input relationship main properties. So if I navigate back to this method, we can see that I have created, using the user interface, I have created this user interface. So you can just add some different fields, and it will automatically show them in your user interface. So I have created this one. Then I will just specify the different properties. So if my relationship already has some properties. I will populate my fields in my user interface, and then I will display this user interface to the final user. And if the final user validate, they click on the OK button, I will just update the different properties. So the checkbox we have seen at the bottom to show the different options. So the one from the display diagram display option. So when I just let me add a new relationship, so it will be pop up again like this. So we can see here where I have my different information that has been populated through the code. And here, when I change my values for my different checkboxes, it will automatically apply these changes to my submodel. And then it will also put the different name to my relationship that we have from the previous event. And if I specify a name that already exists, I will check the name won't be replaced, so it will remain empty. And so I will display an error to my user to be sure that it will be fixed. And then I will just end my function, and it will be ready for the next steps. So you can, it was my first example using the different handlers, and it will automatically pop up like this. And so you can imagine many different features regarding this. If you want to automate, every time I'm adding a new entity, I can directly attach a specific attachment from my data dictionary. If I have created some attachment, I can directly bind this attachment to my entity, and we can imagine many different use cases depending on what you want to achieve using these different macros and handlers from the options. This one. Okay. Regarding the documentation, we have documentation about automating RStudio Data Architect. I will share these different links directly in the chat, so everyone can watch them later. We'll just explain what it concerns. So this one will explain the COM automation interface, how it works, and what you can achieve. You have lots of links regarding what can be done. We have seen the create event handlers just before, so I have opened this page, and so you can see the different objects where you can customize it, and you have an existing example directly available within the solution. So this is the one we have just seen an example during the demo. Why we can't use it, the reason why you will use the automation objects, so you have some documentation you can read after the meeting, the webinar, so you can have this different information directly available. The different objects are documented in this specific documentation. You can see that you will start with the application that will be your first node when you will create a new macro. So from here, I have my user interface. I can create a new macro by clicking this button. I can also navigate to the macro tab when I have a project open. From the macro tab, I can create a new macro from this menu directly. And they will also, you can also do it from this tab here. If you right click anywhere in this window, you will be able to click the add macro. So it will add a new macro in this user interface. Okay, like this. When I have my new macro, the first thing, like I was showing here, will be to use your application will be available because I am using my internal object. So but as the next step will be to use, for example, my model. So I will use different variables to get this information. I will create a D for my diagram, D as diagram, for example. I can create my dim M as model, and I can, yeah, it will be enough to start. So then I will affect to this variable to be able to work with it. I will use the diagram manager, which is the pointer for the application. So regarding the documentation, this is this object, and so I will get a reference to this one. Here we can see dictionary. Dictionary will be the data dictionary. So you can access the data model or the data dictionary. Here I will access my diagram, so the data model part. So I will get my active diagram, or I can open a new diagram from my hard drive. I can manipulate my existing model with active diagram. I can get the data dictionary to get these objects. So I will get my diagram, and from here I will set my model for using my variable m I said equals d and dot, and then I will get my active model. So I can get a pointer to this specific object if I want to. And for example, I can let's add a loop here. I will declare my E as entity, just to show the different entities, and from there I can directly loop on each on each entity in my model. So m dot entities, and from here it is automatically doing it, and I can write in this debugging window directly debug print and e dot entity name, for example, and if I click the play button, I will run my macro, and we can see that from this model it found my 3 different entities that we have created together, and we have here the different names that has been just written here. So I start from my model diagram manager, which is the application. I get my diagram, then my model, then my entity. If we look at the documentation, I go through the application, diagram, model, and from there I navigate to my entity. And so I can get the properties of my entity, or I can go down and get all the different attributes and so on. So I don't think I have shared this link, so I will share this web page. You can have more details about all these objects. We have a dedicated website with the documentation, so you will find all the different samples that are available with the different macros. And from here, you will have the information regarding the different objects. So if we look here, I have used my object entity and I have used the property entity name. So I can directly from this editor get some information. If I click this icon, I will open this window, and we can see that I have my entity name that for this object entity. I have a quick documentation directly available. This is the name of my entity in my logical model. So this is why I got it. But if we look at the documentation, if I scroll down to my entity object, here we have the entity object, and we have different members or properties. You can see both of them. It is loading here. And if we look at the different properties, we will see entity name with the same documentation, and I can navigate to this specific property if I want to, and so on. So if I navigate back to share the link, this is the link for the documentation for the different objects. This documentation is directly, go to meeting in front, is directly available from Data Architect. It was here. From Data Architect, I have my automation interface reference. So this is what I showed earlier during the slide. From here, I will have my different samples also available, and the same for my different objects. And I can easily navigate and view the different properties. And I have my entity name and so on. You can find some example if you want to. It looks like a lot mine. And this one is replacing the entity name. So what I have shown here, I'm reading the value of this entity, but if I want, I can also update the value. So I can create some new objects and so on. But for example, if I want to put my entity name will be equals to new space and the old name, for example, just to do an update. So we can see here we have entity 1, 3, and so on. And if I play this new macro, automatically I have updated all my different objects. So you can very easily update all these different objects by using the different macros. And like I was saying, the most important part will be to check the existing macros. I want to use Excel. We have lots of different examples that use Excel to export, import, for example, for the visual data lineage that would be available here, but it can be your different bindings of your attachments to your object. So you have lots of different objects from here. And if we double click any of these different macros, we can see the script. And then we can, from the script, usually we have, if it's for Excel, we will see the format that is expected for the Excel spreadsheet. But then you will see the script. And if it doesn't do exactly what you want to achieve, you can always save your script in your own folder and update this one to do exactly what you want to do, or by creating a new one, and you can copy some part of this of the other script and directly create your script in your own macros. And then you will be able to use them in your handlers or directly from this menu, or by adding some specific shortcuts. You can also easily add shortcuts to your different macros. So for instance, if I right click on an entity, I can see that here I have a menu with different macros that will be available, and you can easily create and add your own macros. So from the list, you will select the one you want to use, you will put them here, and you will have a shortcut on these macros directly available. This is the same as managing shortcut. To have your shortcut for the whole application, you can create these different shortcuts. But for example, I have created some specific one for my entities. If I want to populate my entity with some specific attributes that I have created before, I can easily add my attributes to my different entities just by running the same macros from here. I have another one if I want to directly use the to create a data vault with my hub, satellites, and links. I can call them from here, and depending on the object you are connected, you have done your contextual, you have opened your contextual menu. So from here, if I have macro, I have no shortcut for the relationship, but I can directly add a new one, and it will be directly available. This is not exactly related, but I can put this one, and as you can see now, if I go back to my macro, I have the capability to relaunch this specific macro. And so depending on the object, you will put some specific shortcut to be able to easily launch them manually from this contextual menu, from there, or from this specific one, or from the command line, or you can directly trigger them with the handlers if you have activated the option in the tools. Okay, you can't answer. Any specific question till now? No. Let's check. No, nothing specific.
There was just one really saying it would be really helpful to share some of the code regarding the event handlers. So I suggested you might do that to your macro area.
We already have some. We already have some example here. So this is our website, here Studio. We can search from here. You have resources, macros. So it will automatically filter on these macros. And I think we have some already existing. Does it search automatically? No. If I have click enter. Yeah, this one is definitely using it. The voice of data architect, I can't demo it because you won't hear the sound of my computer. But I have another example from here, which is, can I open it from here? Yeah, this is what I thought, because I tried to hide it to just show the default one. So I have renamed it, but it is still visible. Let me think. If I go there, it should be available. Try to hide them, but he shows the .bas, and so he directly shows the macros. So let's rename it properly so I can demonstrate it. Okay, so I was showing this one. This is a voice, and so this is a blog post that is available from here. So if I open it, you will see So you have some explanation regarding the basic handlers, and some explanation how to use how this macro is working. But you will see that every time I'm creating a new macro, it will read with my with the voice of the computer the different names from this macro. So this is an example just to show how to illustrate it. And so you will find different ones. Here is no, this one is not using. No, this test handler. No. No, this one is the example for the different shortcuts that we have seen from the right menu, like I have shown during the demo. And you will see a specific macro that will reproduce this menu, and you can easily attach any macros to any script, to any kind of objects. And here, each time you will see the script, and you can copy the whole script and paste it in a new macro. You will create a new macro. You will replace the script from the blog post directly to your data architect editor. I will copy the previous one without handler, so you will have it. This is it. So you have a different example directly available from this page. What do I have here? Yeah, this example is also available directly from our website in the macro tab, and you will see this script is showing how to use, for example, PowerShell to directly connect to our system, and to here it was a project to sort in different different folders the different projects using different properties, and it is checking the properties from the project to directly sort the different projects in the different directories on your hard drive to easily sort all of them. So you can really use any language that is supporting the COM automation interface with our solution. Yeah, I have shared this one. So like I said so many times, you can run it from the command line. So you just add a dash M with the path to your macro, and it will automatically launch your specific macro. So it will be can be very useful if you want to integrate in your DevOps, your CI/CD project batches. If you want to extract some information from your models, you can always call a specific macro that will generate exactly what you need, and can be from your physical model. For example, I want to generate my physical model, and it will automatically generate it, so you can reuse it wherever you want. You can generate it in your using Git to get the DDL in your Git environment, so it can be used by your colleagues and so on. Yeah, this is one. We have seen the create event handlers. I think I have already shared this one too. The different samples that are available, you can find them in our documentation too from this page. It can be useful if you search for something specific. I want to do some lineage. So I search lineage, and I will see, okay, I have 8 lineage. Maybe I have different information directly available from here. Can easily navigate. So this one can be very, very useful just to find the different samples that can be directly available. And like I said, you can always edit an existing script and directly adapt it to do exactly what you want to achieve. And the last one, yeah, this one will be to use how to use the editor. So this is what we have seen from this editor. Like you can see, you can put some breakpoints when you click in the gutter. You will have the capabilities to put some specific breakpoints. So from here, if I want to let's say I'm thinking what I can do. Yeah, again. From there, if I put a breakpoint, you can easily investigate if it doesn't work exactly as you wanted. So you have put your breakpoint, and when you will play your script, automatically it will stop when you will reach this specific part. So here we can see the new entity one as the name for now. If I can navigate, if it's a call to another method, I can enter this method, can step into. If I don't want to step in this specific method, I can step over, or I can just exit the current method to if I was in a child, for instance. So I will just move next. Let's expand so we can see everything and see this. So we can see that I have updated once again the name of my entity. It is directly available. I haven't printed it yet. I am on this row, and when I will click, automatically I will get my new value directly pop in this line. And if I go next, I will loop on each of my properties. I can remove my button. I can click the play button. It will continue till the end of the script or till it will reach another breakpoint very easily. And so you can you can create this different. You can debug your script to find where is the potential issue. When you type your dot, every time it will automatically open the different properties, so you can easily find your different objects. You don't have to remember exactly the name. If you can easily find them from this list. And like I showed earlier, if you navigate, so I am on my object M, so it is a model, and see if I click on this specific button, it opens automatically my object. I can see all the different libraries. If you have some references, you can see these different references. And from here, I can see my different objects, and I can directly get any information. So I was talking about models. So merge model will be for the comparison. When you compare and merge, you can call it directly from your macros. And from my model, I will have the model itself, and then all the different method and proper function and properties that will be available within your objects. And so you can select it to get some information directly from here. And this button to generate a user interface. So from here, I will remove this. So we are renaming the object. We will stop renaming the object. It's enough. But if I want to add just a new user interface, I can easily add some new fields in my user interface. I will put all of them. I will add a OK button. I can put a cancel if I want, or just an OK button. If I need some specific behaviors for different buttons and so on, we can generate directly a specific function to manage these different events. So let's call it DLG function like this. When I will close this window, he will ask me, do you want to create the skeleton for this dialog function? If I say yes, automatically it has created for us this, depending on the name I have given, this specific function. And here you can see the different cases. So if it's when my box is created, so I will have here my new dialog box. So if I click my play button, we'll see the new the loop for my debug here, and then my new window. And when I click my OK, it will automatically close. But if I want, for example, for the initialization, I can change the text of my OK button. I will give it a name. So I will use user interface. So if I right click on an object, I open this property editor. I will say it is button OK, like this. I will copy this name. I will close the window, so it has automatically updated my object. And from here, if I want, I can say my button OK will be update. It will be update. like this. And so if I play my macro once again, we can see that maybe I have changed during the initialization the name of my button, but then it can be any test. I can test if this value is empty for my text box, do not do this, and so on. If I don't want the button to close my window, I will just put this dialog function equal true, and it will keep it open till it is closed. For example, can add a new button like this, and if I click on it, if I don't change the code right now, if I click on my push button, you can see that the window has been closed. But if I go there and no, not here, missed. From here, if my dialog item, which is available from here, so it is if my dialog item equals my push button, so this one, then I can prevent it from closing. And for example, I can also write something in this window. Let's pop up a message box, a message like this. And if I click my play button once again, if I click my button, I have my message box, and the window remains open because I put this specific line of code and returning true, and so it stays open. But if I still click on my update button, OK button, it will automatically close it because I don't have this specific method. Okay. If you do some I would say beginner mistake like this, I'm not testing any button. So if I run my application and if I click update, I can't close it. I can't close it from here. Normally this one should work. No, it doesn't because I haven't put a cancel one. So you can close it when you click on the system menu in your taskbar. You can always end your script or pause it if it was in a loop doing something. You can put the script in pause, or you can directly cancel this script. And as you can see, it has been stopped using this button. And so when you have forgotten something and you have a loop or something, it doesn't close. It is always good to know how to close it without using your task manager. That's it. Let's open the question panel to tell us the most common use case for customization, or when I have to do. So the question is it possible to tell us the most common use case for which I'm using macros? So it really depends. I'm using them for many different purposes, but usually when I need to automate a specific task, when I want to be sure that it will be done exactly how I want to do it. If I have to work on many different objects, usually I will prefer to directly create a new macro and to loop on these different objects to apply my changes instead of doing it manually to all the different objects. It can be, and depending on what I want to achieve, I will have many different examples. I can import some, or if I don't have some specific features, I will probably try to create some macros to create these specific features. So if I have to import or to export, we have customer asking, is it possible to export to a JSON file your model, but I don't want to create a JSON file from the before it was available within the solution. I have created my own script to create my JSON file. We have the same right now with YAML file. I should have it. I have the same for XML, but I will show it after. But I should have in test my YAML, some YAML file or no YAML. I don't remember how I call it, but I have different example like this one. So if I expand this, what I'm doing for the XML or the JSON file. I'm just asking some parameters. So if I click my play button from here, I'm asking where I want to save my JSON file, so the file name, and then if what I want to export in this specific JSON file, and I'm exporting the entities and the relationship by using this JSON file. When I will click the export button, and I have the same with my XML file. So the first one I have created for this one, for example, and it was exporting. Console, yes. What I'm doing here, I'm calling my do export if it has been validated, and in my do export method, what I will do, I will loop on all my different sub-models, and I will then loop on all the different entities in these sub-models. And for each entities, I will get my attributes. And as you can see, I'm just generating the XML file by printing it in my file system, in the file I have created. And when it's over, here I'm checking if I also want to export the relationship. And when it will be over, I'm just closing all my different attributes nodes, and then I will close my file. And if I want to open it, I'm just calling a shell to open my file with the default Explorer. So yeah, it really depends on what I want to achieve. I have, for example, import from different object solution. When it's, for example, some XML formats like Draw.io, we have some XML formats, and so I'm just loading the XML file from this format, and then I will loop on all the different nodes to generate manually my own entities in my model from the solution. Here I'm adding the new entity, and then I will add the new different attributes from the different models. So it really depends. Any other question? Yeah. No? Okay. Switch back here. So we have seen how to update existing macros. It could be with the event handlings, with the create, update, or delete, or it can be the other one in the samples. You can always, or you can get them from our RStudio website and create your own macros. You can do the same by using the different the macro, creating a new one, and from the user interface. So regarding the different use cases, it will be to improve the interoperability between different people and systems. It means that you can easily, like I said earlier, if I run a macro and my colleague runs the same macro, if I have just created a batch, I will say, in my macro and not with no user UI, it will do exactly the same if it's me or my colleagues that running this specific macro. So it will be consistent regarding how we achieve this. We will be sure that we haven't forgotten to bind this specific attachment, to generate the DDL at this specific folder, and so on, because you have created a script to be sure that it will be done like this. If you have some, if you are using macros to create exactly what you want, and instead of doing it manually, obviously, if you have a new request, I need a new table in my model, so you will create your new entity, your new attributes, and you will add some compliance information. You will compare your logical model with your physical model to generate the table with the different columns and add this different information. You can create a macro that do this, and then when you will have a new object that is required, if you have some specific fields for example, for history, to know when was the last update, and you want to be sure you will have always these different attributes, columns in your tables, you will create a macro just to be sure it will be automatically added, and you can even put it in your events handler to be sure that it will be totally automatically added. And if it's a script that you have already tested, obviously you won't forget anything. You won't do, you won't press the wrong button, the wrong key on your keyboards, and it will avoid some specific mistakes that you can always do when you do it manually. Do not hesitate to contact us. You can go to our website, VBScript-based, like you have seen. We have a, let me move, go to meeting. You have a book a demo button directly available from here. We should have some other link to directly contact us, and we will be happy to book a specific demo if you want to, with you and your specific use cases, and how we can help you. Thank you for attending, and like I said, you will receive the recording of this video by email after it's over. Have a nice day. Cheers.